the hidden truth about lust. Is your freedom a satanic trap? In a world obsessed with living your truth and embracing your desires, there's a dark reality no one dares to address. What if the pursuit of sexual freedom isn't liberation at all? What if it's a carefully crafted deception, designed to pull you into something far more sinister? This isn't just about morality, this is about a spiritual battle for your soul. Lust, cloaked in the language of empowerment, has infiltrated every corner of modern life. Social media glorifies it, Hollywood normalizes it, influencers sell it as the ultimate form of self-expression. But here's the shocking reality. What you've been told is freedom might actually be enslavement. Lust isn't just a fleeting desire, it's a gateway, a door that opens to forces beyond your comprehension. Think about it. Why does the world encourage you to indulge in whatever makes you happy, even if it comes at the cost of your integrity, your relationships, and your peace? Could it be that this relentless push to normalize lustful behaviors serves a deeper, darker agenda? The Bible warns us about this very thing, calling lust one of the most dangerous sins, not just because of its immediate consequences, but because of its power to corrupt the soul and sever your connection with the divine. The truth is, lust thrives on lies. It whispers that it's harmless, that it's natural, that it's your right. But each time you give in, you're not just feeding a fleeting urge, you're feeding something far more dangerous. Lust doesn't just destroy relationships, it destroys your spirit. It traps you in a cycle of guilt, shame, and addiction, pulling you further from the light and closer to the shadows. And here's the chilling part. The normalization of lust isn't accidental, it's a strategy, a carefully orchestrated plan to desensitize you to sin. The more you accept it, the less you resist it. The less you resist it, the easier it becomes for darkness to take hold. This is not just a personal struggle, it's a battlefield, and your soul is the prize. So ask yourself, is your pursuit of freedom worth the cost? Or have you unknowingly fallen into a trap designed to lead you away from everything good and holy? Lust isn't just a mistake, it's a weapon, and the sooner you recognize it, the sooner you can fight back. The deceptive innocence of fantasies. Are you opening doors to darkness? They tell you it's harmless. It's just in your mind, they say. But what if those fleeting fantasies, those innocent daydreams, are doing more damage than you could ever imagine? What if every time you indulge in them, you're unknowingly inviting forces you can't see, forces that thrive on your surrender to temptation? This isn't about controlling your imagination. It's about protecting your soul from a silent, sinister invasion. Fantasies are everywhere, normalized to the point of celebration. Books, movies, and TV shows glamorize them, making it seem like there's no harm in creating an alternate reality in your mind. But let's get real. Fantasies aren't just harmless thoughts. They're seeds that grow into desires, and desires that, when left unchecked, can lead you straight into actions you swore you'd never take. Think about it. How often do fantasies serve as an escape from reality? What are you escaping to? Fantasies are seductive because they allow you to be in control, crafting the perfect scenario, the perfect partner, the perfect moment. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. They also leave you wide open to manipulation. Because every time you lose yourself in those imagined worlds, you're creating a space for something darker to step in. The Bible is clear. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Your thoughts shape your reality. When you entertain fantasies that are impure or self-serving, you're not just playing a mental game. You're aligning yourself with forces that want to exploit your weaknesses. And make no mistake, those forces are watching, waiting for you to crack the door open just enough for them to slip through. It starts small, a harmless thought, a little indulgence. But soon, those fantasies can grow into obsessions, making it harder and harder to distinguish between what's real and what's destructive. Fantasies become addictions, and addictions are chains, chains that Satan uses to keep you from living in the truth. So, the next time you're tempted to brush off a thought as just a fantasy, stop and ask yourself, who benefits from this? Is it truly harmless, or is it pulling you away from God's light? The line between fantasy and sin is razor thin, and crossing it could be the first step into a darkness you're not prepared to face. Don't let your thoughts become a battlefield you lose. Guard your mind, because it's not just your imagination at stake, it's your eternity. Power, control, and darkness. When relationships become Satan's playground. Not all relationships are built on love and respect. Some thrive on power, control, and manipulation, hidden under the guise of passion or connection. But what if these dynamics aren't just toxic? What if they're actually satanic, crafted to strip you of your freedom and drag you into spiritual destruction? Let's face it, in today's world, domination and submission have become glorified. From entertainment to social media trends, relationships that blur the lines of mutual respect are painted as edgy or desirable. People defend them, saying it's just a lifestyle, or as long as it's consensual, it's fine. But here's the truth. A relationship driven by power and control isn't just unhealthy, it's a doorway to darkness. Manipulation, exploitation, and coercion are the hallmarks of such relationships. They prey on insecurities, building a toxic environment where one partner seeks to dominate while the other is trapped in fear or dependency. This isn't love, it's spiritual warfare. And the battlefield isn't just your emotions, it's your soul. The Bible is clear about the sacredness of love. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking. 1 Corinthians 13:4-5. Relationships that deviate from this standard don't just break hearts, they invite chaos. And who thrives on chaos more than Satan himself? Consider this. When a relationship revolves around power, it becomes fertile ground for sin. Envy, resentment, abuse. They grow like weeds, choking out any chance of true connection. These dynamics don't just harm the individuals involved, they ripple outward, infecting families, communities, and even entire generations. But it doesn't stop there. Relationships rooted in control and exploitation can harden hearts and sever your connection with God. When you normalize manipulation or accept abuse as love, you're agreeing with a lie that keeps you in chains, far from the truth of who you were created to be. Ask yourself, is your relationship a source of growth and mutual respect, or is it a battlefield of control and fear? The answer might be harder to face than you think, but ignoring it only strengthens the forces working against you. Don't let Satan use your relationships as a weapon. Recognize the signs, break the cycle, and reclaim the love you are meant to experience. Love that uplifts, heals, and honors both your spirit and God's design. The silent destruction of casual relationships. How selfishness and disconnection feed the darkness. In a culture that glorifies hookups and casual relationships, the idea of deep, meaningful connection is fading into the background. Society says it's normal to keep it light or have fun without strings attached. But what if these fleeting encounters are more than just moments of fun? What if they're part of a deeper strategy to desensitize your spirit and draw you further into darkness? Casual relationships seem harmless on the surface. They promise excitement without commitment, intimacy without responsibility. But here's the truth no one talks about. They thrive on selfishness. At their core, these relationships prioritize personal gratification over genuine connection. And selfishness, the Bible warns, is the breeding ground for sin. Think about it. When you engage in a relationship purely for your own satisfaction, what are you feeding? Is it your soul or something darker? Satan doesn't need you to become evil overnight. He only needs you to embrace habits that chip away at your ability to love selflessly. Every casual encounter built on lust and disregard for the other person's soul is another step away from God's design for love and intimacy. The damage doesn't stop at the spiritual level. Casual relationships erode trust, leaving behind scars of rejection and emptiness. Over time, they can numb your ability to form meaningful bonds, turning love into a commodity rather than a sacred connection. The more you indulge, the harder it becomes to recognize real intimacy when it comes your way. But here's the chilling part. This isn't just about individual choices. The normalization of casual relationships is part of a larger, darker agenda. It's a culture designed to keep you disconnected, not just from others, but from yourself and from God. When love is reduced to convenience and commitment is discarded, the foundation of human relationships begins to crumble. And when relationships fall apart, families, communities, and entire societies follow. Ask yourself, is momentary pleasure worth the cost of your spiritual and emotional well-being? The next time you're tempted to settle for a relationship with no depth or meaning, remember this. Satan doesn't need you to worship him openly. He just needs you to compromise, little by little, until you no longer recognize the darkness you've embraced. Choose wisely, because what seems like freedom might actually be your greatest chain. After recognizing the hidden dangers in lust, fantasies, and toxic relationships, you may find yourself asking, how do I break free from the grip of darkness? The first step is acknowledging that your soul is at stake, and that breaking free is not only possible, but necessary. This is not just about resisting temptation. It's about reclaiming your spiritual strength and returning to the truth that was always meant to guide you. The road to spiritual renewal begins with a shift in perspective. Stop viewing sexuality, relationships, and desires through the lens of what society tells you is normal or acceptable. Instead, look to your faith for guidance. The Bible offers wisdom that can lead you away from the traps that enslave the soul. It's about returning to purity, rejecting the lie that sin is harmless, and realigning your actions with God's vision for your life. One powerful step in breaking free from these forces is prayer. Prayer isn't just asking for help, it's a form of spiritual warfare. It's a direct line to the strength and wisdom of God, a way to refocus your heart on His love and truth. Ask for deliverance from temptation, seek healing for the damage already done, and pray for the strength to resist in the future. Prayer restores your connection with the divine, offering peace and clarity that will shield you from the pull of darkness. Another key to spiritual renewal is community. Surround yourself with people who encourage your growth, who walk the same path of purity and truth. Avoid environments that normalize sin, and instead seek fellowship with others who are striving to live according to God's will. The strength of a supportive, faith-centered community can help you navigate the challenges of a world that constantly tries to pull you off course. Lastly, remember that renewal isn't a one-time event. It's a continuous journey. Each day is an opportunity to choose light over darkness, truth over lies, purity over temptation. It's a process of transformation where your mind is renewed and your heart healed. The more you embrace God's truth, the less room there will be for the forces that try to ensnare you. The path to spiritual freedom is available to all who seek it. It requires courage, commitment, and a willingness to let go of the things that once held power over you. When you choose to live in alignment with God's will, you step out of the shadows and into His light, where healing, strength, and true freedom await.